How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its excellent summer sale right now. A lot of great deals available, and now we're gonna be looking at some of the super cheap game deals available under $5. And guess what? These deals are already very, very inexpensive, but if you want to get these deals at an even better price, here's a word from our sponsors over at CD Keys, where you can get your PSN credit. This video is brought to you by cdkeys.com, where you can get PSN credit even cheaper. Just go on over to the site, pick whatever amount you want to buy, and you'll get it even cheaper. Check out, and immediately you will get a code that you can then redeem on the PlayStation Store. Redeem your code, and boom, you got your PSN credit, and you can buy any of the games we mentioned in this video even cheaper. You can buy games that just came out, like Stellar Blade upcoming games. System Shock Remake is coming out, Destiny 2 Final Shape, you've got SMT5 Vengeance in the near future, a lot of great titles coming out here in the near future, and you can get them even cheaper by getting your PSN credit over at CD Keys. Check out the links in the description box below. Anything you buy also directly supports this channel and is much appreciated. Now, on to the video. Let's get started with the deals under $5. Kicking things off, Just Cause 3 XXL Edition is 86% off for $4.19. Just Cause 3 had a litany of technical issues at launch. A lot of that still persists. It's not like this game is an amazingly smooth experience, but if you want an over-the-top, chaotic, open-world action title, I mean, Just Cause is as good as it gets. When it comes to just really exuding that aspect of pure mayhem, yeah, Just Cause 3 is an absolute roller coaster ride. It's not a game where you're gonna get narratively invested into the story of one Rico Rodriguez, but what you will do is have a great experience in terms of the chaos, the explosions, and everything like that. Traversal's done pretty well, a lot of content, $4.19 for the XXL edition, a damn good price, so definitely would give that a look. Next up, for those of you into your narrative-driven titles, Walking Dead: The Complete First Season is 75% off for $3.74. Now, the best route to go when you talk about checking out the Telltale Walking Dead games is probably to pick up the Telltale Definitive Series. That gets you seasons 1 through 4, that gets you 400 Days and the Michonne miniseries. It's a lot of content for your dollar, but obviously that is never sub $5. So if you just want to get into it to start off, The Complete First Season is a great experience, and it's an absolute emotional roller coaster ride as far as investing you emotionally into the characters and the story. Just really well done in that regard. $3.74, I think that's a really good price point, so I would definitely give that a look. Next up, a lot of attention around Cat Quest 3 that just dropped recently. Cat Quest 2 is 75% off for $3.74. Cat Quest 3 obviously at $18, so that might be a little bit too expensive for some of you guys to check out, but Cat Quest 2 for $3.74 I think is a really, really good deal. It's an incredibly charming open world RPG, you know, definitely keep the scale in mind as far as open worlds go, but Cat Quest is a charming as all hell game, and if you want something that's a little bit more on the lighthearted side, like Cat Quest is going to offer you that. It's a super accessible game. You've got co-op in there as well if you do want to play it with somebody else. $3.74, great price on Cat Quest 2. Definitely give that a look at that price point. It's worthwhile. Next up, super underrated game here, Mark of the Ninja Remastered, 75% off for $4.99. I try to always go to bat for Mark of the Ninja. I just think it's a criminally underrated game. Never came out on the PlayStation 3. It initially saw a release on the 360 and on PC, of course. And it was one of those early downloadable titles where downloadable games were still trying to make or find their footing and how they were going to be received in the gaming landscape. You had games like Mark of the Ninja, you had games like Bastion, you had games like Braid, really showcase what these smaller scale games could do. And Mark of the Ninja was a great action stealth game, awesome visual style. With this remastered version, you do get the game visually a little bit better, and you have all of the special edition content included as well. Special edition DLC included there, and a great 2D visual style. $4.99, great price on that. That was holding up in price for a while, you know, going for $9.99 or $7.99, and that was a little bit pricey, you know, for us cheap folk over here, but $4.99 I think is actually a really good buy. Next up, it wouldn't be a Game Cross Deals video if we didn't mention you know, some RGG titles. Yakuza Kiwami is 75% off for $4.99, and then Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, I'll give that a mention as well at $4.99. To start things off with Yakuza Kiwami, this is a remake of Yakuza 1, and Yakuza 1 was released on the PlayStation 2. You go back and play Yakuza 1 on the PlayStation 2, yeah, outside of the voice acting that is a little bit questionable, the gameplay experience in its own right, a little bit bit dated to say the least. But Yakuza Kiwami does a great job of bringing the franchise back up, at least Yakuza 1, back up to a modern level. For $4.99, I think it's a great buy. I would recommend you to play Yakuza 0 first, but Kiwami, a great time there. And Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, $4.99 on this. This is one of those forgotten RGG games where, you know, it's not a part of Yakuza, it's not a part of Judgment. I'm not a big Fist of the North Star guy, never really watched it growing up. I obviously know of the memes and all that kind of stuff, but yo, it's RGG gameplay at their fundamental best with Fist of the North Star. And if you like it, Fist of the North Star, you're probably gonna enjoy this game even more than me. But if you just like action beat-em-ups, well, worthwhile to check it out in that regard as well. Next up, we got Metal Slug Anthology, $3.99 on this. Metal Slug isn't an IP that I necessarily gravitated towards, but as a throwback action shooter platformer, Metal Slug's a fun time. Obviously, the experiences, you know, they're throwbacks for sure, but if you want chaotic arcade action, Metal Slug's a pretty damn good time with all the games you're getting with the anthology. Value-wise, it's pretty damn good, so wanted to give that a mention. Darksiders Warmastered Edition, $3.99. Darksiders in the news cycle a little bit right now, with Darksiders officially confirmed to be getting another entry. We'll see how that turns out. Hopefully it'll be pretty good, but Darksiders Warmastered Edition is an upgraded release of Darksiders 1, which I remember when this game was coming out back in 2010, the rhetoric around it was, you know, interesting in that, as I've said before, a lot of people were comparing it to The Legend of Zelda crossed with God of War, which I just think was setting people up for disappointment. Even back then, I remember, like, Darksiders definitely isn't at that caliber, but I can understand why those comparisons are made. From a combat standpoint, a little bit of God of War there, especially when you compare it to God of War 1 through 3. From a puzzle standpoint and world design standpoint, yeah, I can see a little bit of the Zelda influence there as well. It's very much like a 7, 7.5 out of 10 kind of game, not a 9 out of 10 kind of game, so keep that in mind. But for $3.99, I think that's a really good price and definitely would give it a recommendation at that price point. Dishonored Definitive Edition, 75% off for $4.99. If you guys know me, you know that I absolutely adore Dishonored. It's a little bit of a bummer to me that Arcane Leon, I should say, has been working on so many other games outside of a Dishonored 3, you know, Deathloop, which I didn't vibe with as much as everybody else, or a lot of other people, I should say. You know, and now they're working on Marvel's Blade, and it just seems like everybody's got to do a Marvel game. Look, I get it. Spider-Man sold incredibly well. Marvel is a juggernaut IP. Arcane doing a Blade game is exciting, but you know what would be exciting to me? A Dishonored 3. Nevertheless, if you never played Dishonored 1, the Definitive Edition gets you the DLC as well. Still looks great from a visual standpoint because it had this art style that I'm not going to say was a technical masterclass, far from it, but it just employed a really dark and atmospheric vibe to it that I feel like has just aged, not gracefully, but has just aged very, very well, even being 12 years removed from Dishonored 1 coming out, which is insane to think about. Yeah, $4.99 for that, pretty good there. Batman Return to Arkham, 75% off for $4.99. You know, it's a little bit depressing playing Batman Return to Arkham because it brings us back to Rocksteady at their absolute glory days, and it is just unfortunate to see how far Rocksteady has fallen as a studio. It is almost a little bit ridiculous, but Arkham Asylum, Arkham City are games that are still fantastic. I actually played Arkham Asylum, you know, not super recently, but a few years ago, and one of the prevailing thoughts that I had while playing through that game again was like, man, this game came out in 2009 and it still holds up so well. The visuals are still great, the combat is awesome, the narrative is great, it's just really, really well done. Arkham City, in my opinion, is also a better game than Arkham Asylum, so yeah, $4.99 for this bundle, obviously a no-brainer and well worth it. Kingdom Come Deliverance, the base game is 90% off for $2.99. Unfortunately, the Royal Edition is not on sale here, but the base game for just $3 is ridiculous. A historical, open-world RPG, solid narrative, and of course, we are coming up on the release of KCD 2, hopefully still later this year. I believe it will be later this year, unless it gets delayed, but if you like the historical aspect of Kingdom Come Deliverance, I think you'll really vibe with it, with its setting and everything like that. You know, well done main character, $3 for that thing. It's really good. Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, 85% off for $4.49. This is another game that I go to bat for ad nauseum. Awesome main character in this game as well. Open world action title, you know, gritty crime narrative, and really likable main character. A lot of content, all things considered. Not like an absurd amount of content comparatively to like some of the big open world games these days, but I kind of prefer this more contained, compact open world that still has quite a bit of exploration to be had. Great soundtrack here as well, and the Definitive Edition includes all the bonus DLC, so check it out, definitely. a good pickup there. Doom 2016, $3.99. Doom 2016, always a fairly good shout. Over-the-top, visceral, first-person shooter. Yeah, $3.99 on that is going to be a good pickup. And then you can check out Doom Eternal, and then you can check out Dark Ages when that drops. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, 75% off for $4.99. I definitely go to bat for the Tomb Raider titles quite a bit as well. I just think the franchise is so good right now. What really depresses me is that, man, we got Tomb Raider 2013, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider in the span of 5 years. It has been 6 years removed since Shadow of the Tomb Raider. No new Tomb Raider games since then. Hopefully, 2025, we'll see Tomb Raider make a big comeback. Crystal Dynamics has a lot more to offer, I am sure of it. And Tomb Raider 2013, well, at this point, you know, being a decade old, it's going to show its age a little bit. It's still a well-done, you know, 8 to 10 hour action-adventure game. Optional tombs are there, but overall, a really, really great game. $4.99, good pickup there. And then lastly, Dragon's Crown Pro, 80% off for $3.99. Vanillaware is one of my favorite studios in all of gaming. I don't think all of their games are tremendous. I think some of their decision-making as a studio is kind of questionable, but, you know, for the most part, their games are really, really good. And Dragon's Crown Pro is probably their weakest game, in my opinion, and I still thought it was a pretty solid game. Action beat 'em up, great visual style, solid soundtrack, and for this price point of $3.99, I think it's a pretty good pickup. So yeah, another one to check out there, and definitely check out all of Vanillaware's other titles. 13 Sentinels is fantastic. Unicorn Overlord came out earlier this year. That game was phenomenal. Muramasa, unfortunately, kind of stuck in Vita and Nintendo Wii purgatory, but Odin Sphere also available for you to check out. That'll do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available right now, under $5. Check out CD Keys. Link to the PSN Credit a little bit cheaper in the description box below. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.